sea, lo que se necesita es un mercado para que ya no tenga que estar pendiente de que si la competencia, que si usted saca 30 bultos, tiene asegurado el mercado. ¿Y eso cómo cuesta? Eso cuesta un montón. Tuvimos que ir a Texas, tuvimos que viajar. O sea, me costó fácil 20,000 pesos el ir. Y ahora le voy a decir que no hay café. Entonces, la próxima vez que yo llegue con café, me dicen, no.
It's a beautiful farm. Luis Melchior. This is his house and where he processes. He's built these raised beds. He's got beautiful, amazing coffee cherry selection. That's just incredible. Here you see some yellow variety. I don't know. It's probably a Bourbon because the area is mostly typical Bourbon. This is where they're producing this coffee. As you can see, you don't need anything fancy to pulp and do a good job when you're working on a very small scale. Here's Aldous Huxley, A Happy World. Oops, there's someone's underwear. Here's his vivero. He creates his own seed from cherries on his farm. He has 2 hectares in 2 different plots, 1 hectare each. There's his television set. There's his chicken. I think that's free range. This is his lombrices, his worm compost. Because like everyone here, it's basically organic coffee by default. Down here is his bunny rabbits. I don't think they're pets, but let's just say they are. And here's his very friendly pig. Hello, come here. Hi. Hello. Hello. With one blue eye and one brown eye. Hello. This little piggy's house is made from concrete and wood. Hi. Hello. Happy pig. I don't think he'll have a happy end, but he's happy now. Look at that. He's got a view. His little house. Goodbye. Everybody's content. So there was a competition here and Luis won. Oh, this is his worm tea. That is some rich stuff. He won a competition and was able to upgrade his house, but basically this house you see here, if you wonder sometimes how microlots affect people, this is his tilapia pond. This is how microlots affect people. He built this house after selling 3 microlots last year at a super premium price, like 3 to 4 times what they normally get. So it's a very real impact. Oh. ¿Cuál es este tipo de chile? ¿Es chiltepe? ¿Este es un chiltepe? Ah, sí. Yo puedo proveer uno.
Sí, pero
Okay.
pica mucho.
Ah, sí.
Pica.
Okay. This is a gorgeous farm. Also in Miramar area in Oaxaca. And it's really actually all old coffee types. There's a little bit of a Mundo Novo, which is kind of an import from Brazil. And he has some Bourbon that's, he says, is from El Salvador. So they have their own types, but they're Bourbons. And as you can see, much of this coffee has been picked. Still a little bit of harvest left. It's pretty late. Beautiful shade. We walked into the farm, the temperature dropped like 10 degrees from the road. Which I think is great for the coffee, to have a lower temperature. The plant has a very different metabolism in full sun and in a warmer, more humid area versus a cooler area. I think that's one of the main effects of shade. A way to manipulate and improve coffee is with shade, plus creating just a much better environment for everything else, including birds and people. But it really does have a positive impact on the coffee. The problem is you're not going to get the heavy yields, but obviously with the old varieties they're not going to get those yields anyway. And there's some fungus here. Here's ojo de gallo fungus. Plant can live with ojo de gallo up to a certain extent. He's very interesting. Down below, he's created out of these small cactus, these barriers, barreras, that grow across the steep part of the land to kind of catch the leaf litter on the ground. Oh, here's one right here. This is something he's planted. Can you see that? This row of vegetation on the ground in order to trap leaf litter, and I think also just to prevent erosion. Yeah, and on this side, you have this incredible buildup of leaves, and when you get down into there, that's just beautiful soil making material. Decomposing your tree and feeding it organically. Oh, they're picking some coffee here today. So, just amazing. It's a beautiful system if you can work in harmony with it and produce enough coffee and get a good enough price to sustain it. Sustain yourself and sustain your family economically. And it's become very difficult, especially with the new pressure of the rust fungus that spread so virulently in the Americas. But you can do it, and they're doing it here. This is organic production, and like a lot of organic production, this is not certified organic coffee. This is just how they're doing it. He's renovated. You can see that he's been pruning the trees. In this area, that's a little bit, not everybody does that. This one is probably deteriorated to a point where you think it can't grow, but then you see new coffee coming out of an old stump. Sort of beautiful thing to see. This has already been picked, but you're not going to see a ton of coffee cherry on this plant. I know it's very easy to want shorthand ideas to how you produce quality in coffee, and some of them that seem to just borrow from wine would have to do with varieties and with low production. You know, people would sort of market that as being somehow going to produce better quality. even altitude to some degree. Altitude is relative to where you are versus in the distance from the equator. And just because you have coffee at 1850 meters like this doesn't mean it's going to be good. You can ruin coffee in many different ways. They are good factors, they add up, and they're things you like to see, they're pleasing, but there isn't one thing, these automatic things that you say, have you got 1800 meters? Check. Are you growing Bourbon? Check. Is your production low? Check. Oh, then you've got good quality. So it's something to keep in mind. There isn't some easy shortcut to say my coffee is good because blah blah blah, but it is certainly nice to see these things, and there's a greater indication that this is a coffee you want to cup, coffee you really want to look at, and a farmer you want to support. So beautiful farm. There's some ominous clouds. Just kidding. This is a tree affected by Roya. I'm just outside of the farm that I was just walking in that has heavy shade, and we're into the chicken farm. But this is what a tree with Roya looks like. It has no leaves. Some leaves up at the top. So what happens is it just basically, ripening a fruited tree takes a ton of energy, and you're just not going to ripen it. So the fruits are going to just sort of turn light green or yellow, and they're just going to stay there. And it's quite a dramatic difference. But this is more of a farmer who doesn't work the coffee. It's a quite high altitude, but Roya is affecting coffee now even at 2,000 meters many places, so there's no protection there. And you have to, they can treat coffee with simple chemicals like lime, sulfates, and copper mainly. And they can maintain an organic certificate even if they had it with that. But it's still expensive. So a beautiful chicken. Buenos días. Tardes. Muy buenos días.